So there was a recent survey done that said about 78% of people working full-time jobs are living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know about you, but the thought of living paycheck to paycheck, y'all, gives me so much anxiety. The thought of not being able to pay for things when I need to in case an emergency pops up, that don't sit right with my spirit, y'all. And it shouldn't sit right with yours. If you are in this bucket and you are living paycheck to paycheck, let's talk about 5 reasons why that might be happening. And hopefully this will help you to get out of that toxic money cycle. Okay, so the first reason you might be living paycheck to paycheck is because you are living above your means, all right? Essentially, you are spending more than you are making. And this tends to happen a lot with people because of various reasons, right? But one of the most common reasons is because people are trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Like, you see everyone around you and everyone looks like they're doing really well, or maybe you didn't come from a lot. And so now this is your time to dress like you got some money, act like you got some money, like walk like you got some money. And the best way to do that is to show it, right? So we're gonna spend more money on our clothes, right? We might buy some jewelry. You know, we might buy a new car. And essentially you end up spending more than you make, and you are essentially living above your means. You know, the goal number 1 is to assess how much you're spending, right? And determine if you are living above your means, and then go and live below your means, y'all. It's okay. Reason number 2 why you might be living paycheck to paycheck is because you don't have an emergency savings account. Here's the thing, y'all. Emergencies are gonna pop up regardless of if you save or prepare for it or not. If you don't have a rainy day fund for any emergencies that may pop up, then you're gonna be forced to rely on getting a loan, right? And some of those small personal loans, y'all, the interest rates are just ridiculous, right? Or you're going to be forced to put the expenses on a credit card, right? Which, again, if you don't have the cash up front to pay for the emergency that you just had, right? Then you don't have the cash to immediately pay off the credit card, which means now you're gonna be racking up additional expenses in interest, okay? So it's really important for you to start a savings account, right, for a rainy day. And a lot of people will think, I don't have enough money. Well, that's not true, right? Because if you think about all the money that you spend on additional things that you absolutely don't need, which might be cosmetic things or vacations or clothes, right? That's the additional money that you can use to put into that savings account for a rainy day, right? Even if you can only start off putting $5, $10, $15, or $20 a paycheck into that account, that is still something, right? That's still you taking the steps needed to create this emergency fund so that you don't have to constantly pull from other sources that you have to pay back. All right, the third reason why you might be living paycheck to paycheck is you have a high debt to income ratio. So what is the debt to income ratio? Essentially, it is a calculation that determines what percentage of your income is going towards paying off your debts, right? So think about if you've got a large amount of credit card debt, right, which is considered consumer debt. What also is included in that is if you have a mortgage, right, or if you have any smaller personal loans, also student loan payments, right? Like those are all forms of debt. If you are making less than what you owe on your debt, then your debt to income ratio is essentially going to be very high. And that's exactly what you don't want, right? So in order to get that debt to income ratio down, you need to put a plan together on how to pay down your debt, right? So let's talk about this for a little bit, right? What is a good debt to income ratio? So essentially what banking institutions consider to be a good debt to income ratio is about 35-36%, right? Which means that no more than 35 or 36% of your gross monthly income has to go towards any debts that you owe. Now, for me and my household, I actually use our net income to determine what my debt to income ratio needs to be. And I also like to make sure that we're spending no more than 10% of our income towards paying out debt. If you actually go and calculate your debt to income ratio, or you look at the amount of debt that you're needing to pay on a monthly basis, it's typically a lot higher than what your monthly income is anyways. And that is why you keep getting stuck in the rat race, and essentially you are living paycheck to paycheck. All right, the fourth reason why you may be living paycheck to paycheck is just simply because you don't make enough money, right? You have essentially a low income. And we know that inflation has been kicking all of our butts over the last couple of years. We all feel it. Lord, I feel it with the eggs right now. And this is not it. If this applies to you and you are like, look, I need to get my income up. I just simply don't make enough money to cover, even just my basic needs, which always puts me in the hole. Then you can look up above and you can click on the link I talk about in another video how you can increase your income at your job. And I give like 5 or 6 tips on how to increase your salary, boo. So I suggest that you go immediately to that video after you finish watching this one. So reason number 5 why you might be living paycheck to paycheck is because all these unexpected expenses just keep popping up out of nowhere. And listen, if that is your excuse, it can't be any longer, because as I said just a little bit ago, these unexpected expenses or emergencies are always going to pop up. And that is exactly why it is absolutely important for you to have a savings account for a rainy day. If you fail to prepare, you can prepare to fail. So there you have it. I have now given you 5 reasons as to why you might be living paycheck to paycheck, y'all. Listen, that's a stress that we don't have time for, okay? We have to be, thinking about growing our careers, making more money, elevating ourselves, and we're not able to do that if we're constantly worried and stressed out about money. So thank you again for coming to my channel. I can't wait to see you next time, and if you have any questions, drop them down below. See you soon.